let's talk about all the good things that made you and me. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. So isn't it so funny that in 2024, I've had to be mindful of writing sex on a post. If you saw 2 days back, I wrote a post about sexual healing, and when I was writing it, I brought to my awareness that I need to be mindful because things like sex get shadow banned. Writing words like orgasm, sex get shadow banned. So I don't even know if the views of this live are going to be lowered. But I just come on. Looking back, I'm like, how silly that I had to change the spelling. Even things like pleasure, they're shadow banned. It's like, what? And it's so crazy. And this is something that I'm so passionate about. I'm so passionate about talking about how much power there is in our sexuality and in sex. But of course, when it's done in the right way, there actually is a right way. There's the way that can give you life and give you energy and inspire your mission and make you more youthful. And then there's the kind that does the opposite, that siphons energy from you, that can be traumatizing, that is not good for you. And I'm going to talk about the nuances of those. But you've probably heard, so I'm here for the healing and awakening of humankind, as you know. I'm also here for the healing of the man-woman relationship. I'm here to reinstate the truth about our sexuality, which was taken from us through religion and institutions that wanted to keep humans suppressed and out of their power. And so I'm currently doing a live a day for a few days. I haven't decided how many days. And the theme behind it is money, sex, and power. So there's also going to be a live on money. And I decided to do this fun live extravaganza as a way to celebrate the launch of my new women's program that starts on 11/11. And also because I came out with a whole bunch of new one-to-one packages, and I thought, what better way to get things going even more and to spread the word than to gift this series of lives. And talking about money, power, and sex and everything related to it, because as an activator, my role, my job is to empower you into even more of the truth that you are, because so often we're not living fully expressed. And I think I'm going to have a day too on just authentic expression and what that actually means. And one of the places where we get our power from is our sexual center. So our life force energy lives in our sacrum, which is the space below your belly button, which is where your pelvis is, which is why twerking and dancing and this kind of movement, that thrusting movement, really gets you energized. And so as a medical doctor, my prescription, as a medical doctor and spiritual healer together, my prescription for everyone is more sex. And it's not just more sex just with anyone. No. May it be lovemaking. May it be with someone you love. And if you are not in belovedship, then may it be with someone you trust and respect, and there's a mutual understanding, and it comes from a loving place. Because it is a very powerful act that you exchange energies with the person. And so let's assume that you are and you have that person to be in loving, connected relationship with. And if you don't, you can engage with yourself. But essentially, when we move this sexual energy, which is our life force energy, which is the force of creation, and we move it from this place that it naturally lives in our sexual center, right, where our sexual organs are. And we move that through the different energy centers and through our body into all of our organs. We literally turn on the volume, and we turn on the power, and we turn on the health. Because by moving this energy, we clear out blockages. By moving this energy, we're giving our body energy. And it amplifies our desire to take action when it moves into our solar plexus. It amplifies love when we move it into our heart. It amplifies our voice, so we speak our truth. We're authentically expressed when it arrives in our throat. It activates our capacity to see, our intuition, when it moves into our third eye. We become more psychic, visionaries. And when it gets to our crown, it connects us with God, the quantum, the universe, so that we become an unstoppable force of creation. That creation energy then moves everywhere. And when we move our sexual energy and circulate it through our body, we move it into our life, which essentially fuels every single creation. Projects, business, you want to redecorate your house, any kind of creative project, you want to create music, you want to paint, you want to create art, your sexual energy is the energy with which you do that with. Any form of creation energy. So there is so much power in your sexual energy. And the craziest thing is that the church was like, it's bad, it's sinful, don't do it before marriage, etc., etc. Now, I do believe that you can have sex that's unhealthy for you. Absolutely you can. This is when people are promiscuous and they have a lot of different partners, people they don't even know. They're having sex intoxicated, without intention, just like splaying that sexual energy around wherever, exchanging energy with whomever. And also what's super toxic is pornography. It sucks the life force out of you. It is basically the biggest entity and a life-sucking energy there is out there. And so the number one thing I recommend is like stop watching pornography. It also creates erectile dysfunction for men. It causes all types of distortions in both men and women, making it harder to connect and even orgasm for both men and women. So definitely stop all pornography watching. It's better to connect human to human. And even when you are pleasuring yourself, it's better to focus on what you want to create, because that's when you get into sex magic, and that's a whole other topic that I share about in my work that's so powerful for manifestation. But don't give your life force away to pornography. Like that is going to lower your frequency, and you can take on all kinds of entities and lower vibrational energies that block your radiance. The more you cultivate your sexual energy within your body and move it through your body and move it into your creations, that makes you magnetic. That's going to be what attracts so beautifully everything you're wanting to create into your life. And that's why when you're having the right kind of sex, it amplifies you into your power even more. Even in the book Think and Grow Rich, they have a whole chapter on sex magic and how you can use sex to even become more wealthy. So someone writes, yes, it is helpful. Some people just look for relationship or sex instead of lift up the energy and function better. Porn is not good. It gives so much strange ideas. And right, yeah, absolutely. And another addition to that is pornography feeds the sex trafficking industry and the human trafficking industry. So it's all kinds of not good. And when we look at sex from a spiritual lens, which it is, one path to awakening, like full-on enlightenment, is through sex, which is tantra, right? So just like there's yoga, yoga is like the path of abstinence. It's also beautiful in its way, and it's a very disciplined path. And it's like the one-person practice, whereas tantra is the two-person practice. And by moving our sexual energy to the upper energy centers, we awaken spiritually. Our spiritual gifts reside in our third eye. And most of humanity is living in the lower chakras, living in the first and the second, which is where like all this ejaculation, this masturbatory energy, and it's more of like a perverted energy. And there's like all this sexual frustration, and there's all these weird power dynamics, right? But when we move it up into the heart and it's more connected in love, that's a completely different frequency. And then you move it up into the higher centers, and then you connect with God, the universe, your spirit guides, the all that is. You activate your God power even more. And so when we work with Tantra, which is so funny because, Tantra gets this rap where people are like, oh yeah, I think guys even get scared. They think, oh, she wants me to do Tantra. That means I have to have like a hard on for 20 hours. And how am I going to last that long? And so there's some like fear behind it because people think it's like so sexual, and it means like 20 hours of sex. And it's really maybe more like hours of connection, but you're not in penetration the whole time. Tantra is really about connection, and I find it to be like not even that sexual, to be honest, because so much of it is rooted in breath work and energy work, and it's like you're moving energy with your consciousness. You're so present. There's so much you're doing that it's not, this perverted sense of sexuality. It's very healing. It requires a lot of discipline, and the goal is not the orgasm. It's everything from the beginning to maybe if there's an end. It's not about the orgasm. And when these practices are so powerful, they transform you as a person. They're so incredible for our health. And this is why I say, as a medical doctor, I'm like, have more sex. Because our bodies are so intelligent that our penis and our vaginas, well, if you're a man, your penis, and if you're a woman, your vagina, have all of the acupressure and the meridian points of all of the organs inside. So for example, and they match up, they line, like they're like puzzle pieces that fit together. So at the head of the penis, you'll find the heart meridian. And at the cervix, which is the bottom of the uterus for a woman at the top of the vagina, there you'll find the heart point as well. So it's like hearts touching through penetration. And so much healing happens through this very intentional practice of Tantra. Women, we have this container, we have this chalice of our vagina, of our uterus, and so much trauma, not even only our own, generational, like from our ancestors. And anything, so much is stored there that in order to reach our fullest radiance, our fullest enlightenment, in order to heal our relationship with the masculine, all of that energy must be released. And of course, there's personal practices to do, and then there's practices we can do in partnership. And that topic is absolutely covered in my women's program. And in couples coaching, I have clients who they come with their beloved. A lot of times people start on their own. Men or women, they start solo, and then they bring their beloveds in, and then they go through the Tantra coaching. And it's so beautiful to witness the transformations, how much heart healing happens, how much resentment gets cleared. It is so good for our mental health, not to mention the pleasure that starts to flood through our body, our muscles, our veins. This is what really promotes mental health. So I'm reading another comment here. Now today people focus very much on sex, to look sexy, to reach out, to get attention. But when people cannot lift up the energy and not work with their feelings to understand why we have them, we feel more. So through Tantra, it's very much about getting in touch with your feelings, releasing trapped emotions, and we can do that in partnership together with another. And again, like I said, if you don't have a partner, you can do it alone. And that's how you then attract in your beloved. Like if you have yet to meet your beloved, there is work that you can do within your own sexuality and your own energetic space that would attract in a better match partner. So then you're not attracting partners in from your wounds, from your trapped emotions, from the stagnation in your body, your womb. And for men too, even though you don't have a womb, there can still be wounds and traumas that you carry that cause you to attract or not attract in the type of women you really want to meet. And sex is something you can feel and easy to relate to. So if you're having true, deep, connected sex, you're feeling a lot. And this can be scary for some people. And that's why sometimes people continue in the toxic patterns of going and having meaningless sex that's promiscuous and not grounded and not connected at all. But when we get the heart involved and we get the higher energy centers involved, it becomes a full-on spiritual experience. And so I want you to really feel into where are you in relation to your sexual healing, development status. Are you still in the lower chakras? Have you made it up into the heart? Are you into the higher energetic fields? Where are you? And the reason I ask is because you're here to live your ultimate potential, and part of the way you do that is through your sexuality and honing it in a conscious, spiritual way. And it can be a path to enlightenment. It is. So the esoteric couples path, so we know of enlightened couples in history like Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, Isis and Osiris, Lady Portia and Saint Germain. They're the guardians of divine union, of that tantric union. Because in that space of tantric healing, we heal, we come into greater wholeness. Intimacy is into me, I see. Some of the deepest work we will ever do is in the mirror of another. We access what needs to be healed and what wants to be healed through intimacy with another. I have found, and I know that many others who are tantric teachers and relationship teachers know that on our healing and personal development journey, we can only go so far alone. Because in the mirror of another, a whole bunch of other stuff is going to come up that you didn't even know was there. Because you needed the mirror of the other to activate that part of yourself. Like you couldn't even see it before. And then when you come and meet someone and they serve as a mirror to show you what wants to be loved, what wants to be healed, what wants to be embraced, then you can ascend to a whole new level. A whole new level of your potential is activated. And it's not just like a friend can't just do it. You know, some of my teachers have said, like, the greatest battlefield on our journey to our greatest becoming is in the sexual space. Because when you think about it, there's so much pleasure there, right? And then there is where we start to meet these shadow aspects of ourselves with that person in that relationship. And it's the love and the pleasure of the sexuality together that keeps us there to continue doing the work. And so you'll meet your shadows, your demons, the parts of you that want to integrate and heal in the space of sexuality as well, in the space of belovedship. And that's why I truly feel that being in belovedship, that mirror, is a path to our ascension as well, and helps to amplify it and bring us into places that we couldn't see or access without it. And so relationships is such a big part of my work because it's so important for us to meet ourselves and see ourselves. And it's not easy. It can be. The more we do the work, the more conscious we are, the more conscious sexuality we're practicing, the more we're doing our personal development work, the more our partner is doing their personal development work. And I love this work so much. And I love these topics so much because it's so beautiful to witness the transformations that we go through. They are inevitable. It's like walking through the fire. You come out the other side completely transformed. And so I invite you, men, women, couples, inside of my one-to-one work. There's new packages. You can see the link in my bio or message me. And for ladies, there's also the opportunity to join my new women's program. It is love, it is life, it is business, it's relationships, it's sexuality, it's everything. And so is the one-to-one. Generally, the one-to-one, I like to focus on 3 main goals, including a money goal. So there's usually 4 goals that we go through. For the 1-month container, it's usually 1 goal. The 3 months, we do the 4 goals, as is the 6 and the 12 month as well. And so there's so many options. I'm enrolling right now for both, so I invite you to reach out to me. I would love to support you. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you tomorrow. And if you have any comments or questions, I invite you to leave them on this video. I'm going to post it on my grid. You can go back to tomorrow's where I talked about power. And tomorrow we'll talk about money and we'll keep the conversation going. Big kiss to you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.